lot of time, different sound enters in our ear. For example, suppose you are sitting at your home and a vehicle below your window honked. There is a sound, goes into our ear. Second is, suppose we are listening a music or hearing a music rather. Third, someone who is very near and dear have spoken something to me. All three are three different sound which enters in our ear. Now, does our system, our brain reacts same way for all three sound? No, not really. So, if we are sitting at home comfortably and a vehicle honking sound comes into our ear, we just hear it, right? So our brain doesn't really process it because we don't need to. When we are hearing a music, a favorite music perhaps, yes, at that point of time, we are listening. But we can still do something else while listening to the music. Might be working on our computer or reading a book or doing something else. When someone very near and dear to me speaks to me, that becomes, or ideally should become, active listening, because we don't not only listen, we listen it carefully. We listen it with more passion, with more interest. So this is the basic difference between hearing, listening, and listening actively or active listening. Now, again, let's think about another example. Where does all the situations our brain reacts the same way? That is, when a vehicle honks, do we always hear, or sometimes we listen, or sometimes even we actively listen? Example, instead of sitting at home, we are walking on the street, on the footpath, and a vehicle honks. At that point of time, we not only hear, sometimes we listen. When we are going to cross the road, at that point of time, if a vehicle honks, in that case, it becomes active listening because we listen and also process certain information along with the sound. Similarly, when somebody is talking to us, ideally, we should listen actively, but in reality, many of times, we make certain mistakes. We do not listen actively. Sometimes we perhaps give a passive listening or only listening. We still continue doing our work. So that is a mistake that we often make, and as a result of that, the person who is talking to us, many of times, he or she feels that I am not interested, I am not attentive, I am not giving that person the importance that he or she feels he or she deserves it. As a result of that, many of times it impacts on our relationship with that other person. It applies for both professional and personal life. So that is why it is very important that we understand when to listen and when we should listen actively. Also, the habit of active listening many of times depends on various different impacts or experiences or learnings that we have from our childhood. And because of that, because of those experiences or those habits or what we have seen during our childhood, many of times we fail to listen actively. So we need to be careful to choose when to hear, when to listen, and when to listen actively. So if you want to know more, do let me know. We can have a detailed discussion about it. Thank you. Thank you for your time.